lot of people know this about me. I used to be a software engineer, and I decided to move to the US from Canada 2 years back. And it was always my dream to go to California, like go to like one of these tech hubs, tech jobs. And I'm making the video today because a lot of people, my friends especially, they ask me how it's like to move to the US, and because they've never done it before. Um, it's very different depending on where you go, especially like if you are going to some of these bigger cities, you're going to like high cost of living places, West Coast. You're going to I don't know, like Seattle, Bay Area, San Diego, or like anywhere in like Chicago, New York, anywhere that's very high cost of living. It will be different from, let's say, you go to like Ohio or like Michigan, and so it'll be different. I would say like even the food can vary a lot, and I don't know. It's just very different. So in my case, for example, I was in San Diego. I went from Toronto to San Diego, and I had a job offer back in 2022. I had the option to either stay back, wait for some lab that was being built back in the day, and I was told that after the lab is completed, they'll finish building the lab in 2 years, and then I'll have to move to some remote place, well-known remote place, but remote nevertheless, and I'll have to work from there. Until then, I can just work remotely from home, from Toronto. That was option number one, and then option number two was to move to San Diego. And so I moved to San Diego, and it was great. Very painful experience. Like moving is itself is very painful. I had to leave my family and to leave everything, to coordinate all the movers and the car shipping company and all of that stuff. It was very painful, but I knew it was for the good, because I knew that if I had passed up this opportunity to go to California, then I would always regret it. I would always regret that one time I had an offer and I decided to pass up that offer. Like something that I kind of always wanted since I did my master's. I did a full master's, so this is not like one of those 1 year do all the coursework and then you're done and get out. Not like that. It's one of those 2 years, 2.5 years research centric Master of Science, and that's what I did. And I thought I was gonna go back. I was gonna go back means like I would go back to the Bay Area or go wherever my friends are from Waterloo, and I didn't get I didn't get anything. Well, I did get an offer, but it was a very low number they were offering, so it didn't work out, and I couldn't survive on that base. So I just said, it, if you can increase it by this much, then happy to sign the offer. And they never got back. So when I finished my master's, I had sort of an offer that was rescinded or something, and they just kind of like ghosted me. And so I never had an offer from California. It's actually been very tough. I don't know what it is, but last 10 years, like going on and off between schools and internships, I just, like always wished that I will have an offer from California or anywhere or Seattle, Washington, or Oregon, somewhere where I have a bunch of friends, a lot of friends in the US because of my previous work experience in internships from Waterloo and Waterloo Engineering. A lot of people, they started working right after their bachelor's and didn't look back. I miss them a lot. So that was my dream, the California dream or the American dream, whatever you want to call it. And so fast forward 6 years, 2018, 20 to 2022. So that's like 4 years, not six. After 4 years, I got an offer. It was through an internal path, not external. So like I was working in some company in Canada, in Toronto, and then I applied internally and got an offer back in 2021. I interviewed in 2021, December, and then I got an offer in May 2022. Don't ask why so long, but I think like a bunch of people got laid off or something in 2022, and then some other recruiter got back and said, "Hey, we are offering you this position, and here are your two options. You can either stay in Toronto and work from home for 2 years and then move to some other place, or you can come to San Diego directly and start working right away. You still have to work like hybrid." So I said, "Great. Um, you know, this is a great opportunity. I always wanted to go to California, so I'm coming to San Diego." And then all of that painful ups and downs happened and things like that, and but I just kept on going. So September 2022, I was in San Diego. rented a place rented a place had some issues with some roommates and stuff, but I think overall it was fine. And then 2023, the tech layoffs started happening in the US. um, and I didn't want to go home in December. I think there was some issues in December, so I decided to go in May of 2023. And then May time, I was with my parents, and during that 1 month vacation time, someone got back and said, some unknown person, they said, "Hey, I'm gonna wait for you in this meeting room. I just need like 10 minutes of your time." And then I said, I'm away during this time. I won't be able to join. I'm not, in fact, I'm not even in San Diego. I'm actually visiting my parents during this month. Is it possible to wait until I'm back? He said, okay, in that case. So he said, in that case, I'll just wait for you online on Teams meeting or whatever. So I went online, and some unknown guy, I don't know who it was. I thought he was like asking for help. Someone from like other time zone and looking for help like urgently. It's never urgent, but it's like some urgent matter or something. And I said, please talk to my manager. And he said, no, I'm actually waiting for you online on Teams. This is the time I have, and your manager works for me, so I'm your manager's manager. So it turns out that when I got together with this guy, this or some random guy, who was actually the director of engineering, and then he said that, "Hey, you're getting laid off, sorry." And so that's what happened. I was in the middle of my vacation with my family at the time, and they said that they're gonna let me go in 8 months. So that September 2022 was when I joined. I thought I was gonna live the California dream for years and years to come. And then May 2023, they were gonna lay me off. and officially I was gonna get let go in 2 months. So I wouldn't have to work for the last 2 months, but I still have to, but I'll still be on the payroll. So I was gonna let go in August, and that's what happened. I didn't know what to do because I was still getting paid, but I wasn't required to work. I was told to just send the laptop over, so all the IT equipment I didn't have after May, and I didn't have to work, but I was getting paid like usual, and I was doing stuff. I went back to San Diego actually after that happened, and just lived my life just the way it should be, minus the working part. I wasn't working, so I just enjoyed, went around, joined jiu-jitsu gym, continued my archery. So I started sailing in San Diego, and also went to Comic Con. So I did my Comic Con. I think it was like part of this medieval LARPing group, and so in the last minute they got me badges for the Comic Con in July of 2023, and that's how I got there, and I enjoyed. It was it was good experience, and there was a time when I had to kind of decide whether I was gonna, you know, um, continue interviewing or packing. Because if I continue interviewing, I won't have time to pack. Or if I continue, or if I start packing up, I won't have time to interview. Because you got to do so many things. You got to prepare for the interviews. You got to show up. You got to go. Sometimes you got to go on site. And the more you interview, the more you are kind of torturing yourself, because it's like the expectation thing. Like if mentally um, you're mentally getting more and more invested into the companies, and then you're waiting for them to respond back, and then they'll just say, okay, how about this date? Okay, we need more time. How about this date? We'll push it back. So it's like a lot of issues with the the hiring. This thing 2023 was the worst year in terms of my career. The worst year. And so sometimes I was even talking to the engineering team directly, and the HR wasn't even there. The HR that were there weren't that experienced. They just don't know like enough about me. They didn't do enough research on me before reaching out. Sometimes they would say, I don't know how this works, or I don't know what's going on, rather than saying I'll reach out to the team and find out the answer for you. So there were a lot of these chaos, like the inexperienced HR, sometimes no HR. I would talk to the director like directly. And so all kinds of issues were there. And I don't know if you are aware, but a lot of workers who move from abroad, they have a time limit to get a replacement job or to go back to school. And I didn't get a job. I didn't go to school. And so I had to move back to Toronto, and that's what I did. And it was really bad experience moving back, and then moving back with my family in Toronto. It was really, really bad. I was in a dark place. And I lost my health insurance because a lot of the stuff that I used to get, the meds, any issues with like like anything that you might have on the skin as a result of like temperature, like extreme temperature, or if you like have any issues and things like that, um, you might have to get meds to like fix those issues. But I did have insurance, so I had issues with that. It kind of hurt to buy some of the stuff again. Like I had to buy some things again because I couldn't get everything over from San Diego, and so it was extremely painful. There was the one company that wanted to interview me in August of 2023, and they rejected me twice within a span of 4 months, and then reached out again the third time, flew me in January of 2024 for an on-site in the Bay Area, and then rejected me after the on-site. I talked to the same hiring manager 3 times. On the third time, he kind of sounded like he doesn't even know me. And I don't know what was going on, but I gave him the exact same story about my background because apparently, like, he doesn't remember me or doesn't remember who I am, what I did. So I talked about the exact same freaking career life story, and then he asked me some questions, but I don't know what happened, but like it didn't make any sense. So it was extremely disheartening, and this is not the first time that it has happened, because I've seen this happen even in other companies. In other companies, once in San Diego and another time again in here in Toronto, where they take at least 3 months, 4 months. They'll go through a couple of rounds of interviews, and then they'll be like, one more round, and then one more round of interviews. They're not very clear. The charts are not very clear, extremely unprofessional. So it's very disheartening. And so 3 months of fucking torture. Every time you feel like you are a good fit, and then they keep on like leading you on into more and more rounds of interviews, into the promise of an offer. They just, I don't know what happens, but yeah, it's very tough. It's been very, 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 very tough. And recently I started looking at some stuff that I had to ship back to Toronto through some shipping company, or it could be like UPS, FedEx, USPS, because I didn't fully move everything. And yeah, so like I went back to San Diego in July, and with the help of a friend, he was letting me live with him. I took some of my remaining stuff that I had in San Diego, and I shipped them back to Canada. The two main things were, one was the home theater system that I had bought. It was an extremely expensive home theater system for $1,200, and that's 1,200 USD. And another, a 55-inch, some like Samsung QLED TV, 4K, 120 hertz, like very high-end TV I got. And I got all the stuff knowing that I'll be, like working in San Diego and living in, enjoying my life with my friends, and my parents will come and notice me, and they will say, wow, like you have this everything set up, you have a nice home theater system and such. And so yeah, I got that TV for I think $1,100. That's 1,100 USD. And funny story, when I shipped them from San Diego to Toronto while I was there with my friend this year, the home theater system, it's like a massive like speaker system, they lost the box. I don't know how that happens. It was a massive box of, like, how big was the box? I think it was like 40 inches, 50 inches in length, and there was no trace of that box anywhere. Just in the tracking, it just says it's in some warehouse, UPS warehouse in San Diego. And another package that was supposed to arrive, well, it did arrive, which is the TV. That had a crack on the top right corner, so the entire screen just flickers, and every now and then you hear the setup instructions, the lady like talking, like some kind of audio that says, and that tells you how to set up your TV. So my TV did arrive, unlike the home theater system, but there was a small crack on the upper right corner, and they just like, I don't know what happened on the way. I have pictures of the TV like fully functioning and everything before shipping, and now I'm just seeing this crack and doesn't work at all. I called a couple of people, some local people, and they told me that it's just cheaper to buy a new one, because they won't get parts for this, replacement parts, or even parts and labor doesn't make any sense cost wise, so it's better to just buy a new TV. So here I am stuck with an unrepairable TV. My family doesn't have a TV, and we are waiting for this TV to kind of, we were waiting for a functional TV, and I was waiting for all these like little things, these luxuries to show up from San Diego, and we were gonna have like enjoy the whole experience that I had invested so much money into, you know, because I thought that was the right thing to do. Was gonna live there a long time, and that was the right thing to do. I was gonna have my own life, set up all that stuff for my own house. They were like I would say those were the two most precious things that I really miss. I really miss having. Um, yeah, it was. Yeah, just I don't think I can buy again. There's, especially like in the middle of all this interviewing and the jobs and stuff. I don't think I can do it again. Yeah, that was like a massive loss. As I said, the home theater system was $1,200, and the TV was almost the same amount. So that's like $2,400, $2,500 plus the shipping cost that it took to ship here. It was, yeah, very expensive, very painful experience trying to move. I think every time I go to San Diego, there's some kind of BS I have to deal with, and it's not like I'm taking like big risks, and I'm not like going to some neighborhoods, or like talking to some shady people or anything like that. I'm just trying to do the right thing, and like spending time with people who kind of care about me. They care about, you know, about my life, or they will be interested in my life regardless of, you know, where I work, because they just care. They care about me, and I care about them, and I just do what I need to do. I have stuff, and I may not be able to sell it online, then I have to ship it back. I might have to hire some moving company, or I might have to ship them myself, and I just have to see what's the most cost-effective way, because right now I don't have any bandwidth. I don't have any financial bandwidth to yeah buy any of the stuff again. I spent so much money like in during weekends when I had a job, because I used to, like go with my friends just to take them to some beaches or for some nice fancy places, some restaurants, and it didn't hurt spending money because I had a job. I had a pretty big, I used to work in some big tech company in San Diego. I think a lot of you may already know which one it is. Um, yeah, it was like a like a typical high cost of living lifestyle where you like pay a massive amount of rent, you pay a massive amount of utilities, and especially during like the high demand times of the year. And then the demand goes higher, like it becomes higher, they charge you more money for some reason, even though it should be lower during high demand to make it affordable for a lot of people to pay for utilities, but it doesn't happen that way. um, and then you gotta like figure out how to live with other roommates, like unknown people. You gotta screen the unknown people and split your rent accordingly. um, so yeah, it was good while it lasted, but I wish it lasted a lot longer. I wish things just worked out, but they didn't. um, so it's been over a year. I haven't had a full-time stable job, or even like just any full-time job. Right now I'm trying to do some freelancing. I'm trying to see if I can pivot to ML stuff. But for anyone that's still wondering what's it like in the US, it's kind of like war. But to me, it was kind of like war because I was unfortunately like extremely unlucky when it comes to my career and moving and all that BS. In fact, it took me about 7 days to get a visa. It was a similar visa to H1. It was not an H1 exactly, but I think the company that works with the lawyers and the lawyers send you the paperwork and documentation on their behalf. They sent me the wrong documentation. They had some extra documentation. So what happened was that when you are, let's say you are like a Canadian citizen, or any citizen within Canada, or I think even Mexico, you don't need to go to some consulate and work out the paperwork. You just have to go to the border. Border means like any airport, and then get your stamp on the passport, and that stamp is your work visa if you can show the proper documentation. But if you have some conflicting documentation, or you have something extra that you're not supposed to have, then they will make a stink about it. They'll be like, why do you have this? Why do you have that? I thought that you were like requesting XYZ, but you are showing me ABC. So they will make a stink about that. So I didn't get a visa in Toronto, but I could fly. I could still fly on that day. And so I came in on a visitor visa and then flew back after the Labor Day weekend. So that was supposed to be September sometime. And I flew back in about within 5 days. But I didn't go to Toronto all the way. I went to Vancouver because the lawyers said that that if I went to Mexico, because San Diego is like 40 minutes from Mexico, like Tijuana or something, and they said that if I went to Mexico, then I may not be able to come back, or they might even turn me away and say I'm a Canadian citizen, so it'll be, I thought they're gonna like deny the visa. So it was much easier for me to go to Vancouver or somewhere that's like nearest that along the Canadian border because I'm a Canadian. So I have to go to the Canadian border. Yeah, so I spent like more money on this flight. It was, of course, like a last minute flight, and I didn't want to miss days of unpaid time if I don't have a work visa. And so I went back, went to Vancouver, got my visa stamp on my passport, got that one done, and then came back and started working in San Diego. So that was like another chapter of getting a visa and so much struggle. So the first struggle was getting an offer because I interviewed in sometime around December 2021 and then got an offer in May 2022. That was one really weird timing. I don't know why they don't offer on, like they're not like excited to offer. And then I had some issues with the visa. It took like 14 days to figure that thing out. Work with some lawyers, and of course, when you email the lawyers, they never admit their mistakes. They never say, "Oh, I'm sorry, this is something that I should have done," but they never admit their mistakes. Um, and then after everything was said and done, and I got my stuff from the shipping company from Toronto, my car, my belongings, and everything, I had to find a roommate and set up my accounts and everything, utilities, and find a place that's like reasonably priced. And then December, I couldn't go to my family for some reason, but I was able to go in May. And so in 8 months, I got laid off. 8 months in the US within the tech sector. And after that, I had to get out because I couldn't get a job. There were a bunch of positions that were where they were taking a long time to decide, and then they just ghost you within, if it takes a month or something, then they just ghost you. It was very poor treatment. I just feel like it's so cruel for them. It's very cruel for them to not even get back or say that they are rejecting me or they're gonna give me an offer. They're still considering me or anything like that. It's very, very cruel. It's very soul crushing. It's very dehumanizing because they don't think of you at all. They don't think of what I could be going through during that time. And so there were a couple of those experiences. Didn't get an offer. Came back here. Went back to San Diego in July. Hung out with my friends. Packed a couple of things. Sent them by UPS. UPS either broke my stuff or they lost my stuff. Came back. And here I am, still with no job. Very difficult to get a job or find a team that's like excited to extend an offer within 10 days. 10 days of the last interview. It's very, very stressful because I don't know what else is happening. So just for the record, I have like 5 to 6 years of experience, work experience. You could say 7 years, like it's because I'm a Waterloo grad. I used to go to University of Waterloo. And yeah, tons of experience. And been looking for more than a year, but no job. That's my story. about moving to the US and pursuing my dreams. Would I do it again? I don't know if I would go back to San Diego at all, because it's just feels like a shit show. Anything I do, it just feels like it's gonna slap me in the face again. I don't want that anymore because I'm like, well, I'm also getting old, right? I need some stability. Sometimes I need the same people around me. Sometimes I need like consistency. I need that peace of mind that tomorrow I'm not gonna get fired or let go or anyway, and I'll have a job. And without that, I don't like. If I did have that, then I just don't know how to like focus on some of the other hobbies, like some music production, some video editing. I want to do some extra stuff, some art, but I can't because I'm constantly within this rat race of being better and better and better and better at interviewing or preparing for interviews or like reviewing ECE stuff. ECE is like electronic engineering stuff, software engineering stuff, lead code. Yeah, it's painful. So that's it. I hope something makes sense, some things don't, and if some things don't make sense, just let me know. um, I'll send this to my friends who also asked me how it was like. So it's kind of like a public video as well as a private video, and just, if you need to leave any comments or whatever, just leave them and see. I'll respond back. That's my life. That's where I am. I can also cover some background, some other like victories and such, because it's not like all like losing stuff. So that I can cover in some later video. Okay, bye.